Okay, good morning once again.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Today we are going to look at Excel formulas. Let me share my screen. Hope you can see my screen very well.
Yes.
Yes.
So today we are looking at Excel formulas. We want to see how we use formulas in Excel. And this makes Excel more powerful compared to Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. And it also helps in data analysis. We use various formulas, various functions to analyze the data which has been given. So as we start the formulas, we have three categories of formulas which we are going to create. Three categories. The first category is referred to as relative reference. The second category is referred to as absolute reference. And the third category is referred to as mixed reference. So we are going to see what these references are. Relative reference means a formula changes relative to the position of the cursor. For example, if we have A1 plus B1, we shall see practically A1 plus B1. When you change the position of the cursor and you drag it down to come to A2 plus B2, that is a relative reference. But we can convert a relative reference to an absolute reference. Absolute reference means absolutely we don't need the arguments to change relative to the position of the cursor. So we create a relative reference by use of a dollar sign. And in this, we fix both the column and the row. So before the column, we put a dollar sign, and before the row, we put a dollar sign. In a way, we are making this one absolute reference. And when it comes to mixed reference, it is a combination of both relative and absolute. As you can see this side, it is relative reference. This side is absolute reference. So our formulas are going to rotate about, basically, about these three references: the relative reference, the absolute reference, and the mixed reference. Whatever we are going to do in the formulas will be rotating about this. We shall come back to it when we are doing it practically. So let us look at a typical example of an Excel function. Any Excel function or formula begins with an equal sign. I'm not muting you all, but if you want to ask a question, feel free to ask. But make sure the rest of you, their mics are muted. I'm seeing this official man. Okay. So Excel formula or function begins with the equal sign. After the equal sign, then we have the function name. Then in brackets, we have the arguments. Now, arguments are the range of cells on which you are going to perform the function. So arguments are the range of cells, or it is a code to be performed. As we see in this example, we have equals. Now, sum is the function name. Joel. Sum is the function name. And arguments we have from A2 up to G2. So this colon here means up to. Remember, we use a colon, not a semicolon. Okay? So that one is read as equals sum from A2 up to So this symbol here means up to G2. So we are taking a sum of a range of cells from A2 up to G2. So we have the equal sign, we have the function name, and we have the arguments. Now, as we deal with the formulas, we are going to come across errors. We shall come across errors. So when you see such errors, like this one, some people think it is a virus. So this one means your figure is there, but the figure is too big, it doesn't fit inside the cell. So this means you have to expand the cell. Then we have the name error. The name error means the name of the function has a problem. The name error means the name of you have given. Remember, we talked of the function name. So when you say name error, it means go back and you correct the function name. That is the function name. Say, for example, sum here. Instead of typing SUM, you may accidentally type SAM. So it means go back and correct. Then we have the value error. I didn't want to mute everybody, but let me do that. Otherwise, some people are distracting the class. Okay. We have the value error. It means check the variables in the formula. We shall see that. Then divisible by 0. It means you are dividing a number by 0. For example, you may want to say 4 divided by 10, but you end up typing 4 divided by 0. So it means go back and you correct it. Then the num error, check the references. Sometimes you may refer to a cell which doesn't exist. Okay. So let us I hope people have the file which I told you to have on your screens. Some people are busy in the chat room putting things which don't belong to this class. Okay. Let us have the other file which I gave you, and we see how these things work in practice. Mugumya, you are distracting us. Okay. So I hope all of you have that file with you. Okay. We have these names here and we have the subjects. Okay. So we need to put the total of these students. We want to find the total of the students and we want to find also the average of the students. Now, in normal calculation, to find the total, we normally get a calculator and we say 85 plus 91 plus 88 plus 76, we have the total. Then after getting the total, then we divide to get the average, we get a total of this divided by the number of subjects. We have the average. That is normal practice. That is what we do. But in Excel, things are going to be different. So in Excel, we don't refer to this as 85. As much as we have 85 here, it is referred to as B2. So we take the cell reference. So this one, instead of 91, we refer to it as C2. Then this one, instead of saying 88, we are going to refer to it as D2, and this one is E2. So practically in Excel, what we would do, we would say equals. Remember, we said the formula begins with equal sign. So the moment we type equals, Excel recognizes that we are going to create a function. So we are going to say equals. Now the first figure here is B2. So that will be equals B2, then plus. So as you can see, the Excel has highlighted that figure the moment I typed B2. So B2 plus C2. Excel gives it a different color. So the color corresponds to the reference. Then plus. Now, if I'm not sure of the cell here, I can just click on it. Excel will automatically recognize it and will put it there. So plus D2, then plus E2. Doesn't matter whether you type it in capital letters or small letters, it will still work. So after all, I'm sure all of these are the cells which I want to add. Then I'm going to either press the enter on the keyboard, or I'll click on this enter button here. Either way. So I'm going to use enter on the keyboard. So when you look here, Excel has given us the answer, which is 340. But when you come to the formula bar up here, last week we saw the formula bar. In the formula bar, that's where the formula is written. Any questions so far, or we continue?
Continue.
Okay. So after getting the first formula, now remember we have a big list of students. Now, instead of going to the second student, you do the same. You say equals. Again, now this one is B3 plus C3 plus D3, then plus E3. So if you have 200 students, when are you going to finish? Remember, computer is about simplifying. Okay? So instead of doing that, we shall get the first student. So after getting the first student, you come to this sign here, that small dot there. So when you come to it, it brings that plus sign. Then you double click on that plus sign. You either double click or you click and you scroll down. So when you do that, other totals are going to be created. So in a way here, we have done what we call relative reference. Remember, in relative reference, we said the formula changes relative to the position of the cursor. So the first formula was B2, C2, D2, E2. Now the moment we change and we come to this, it is coming to B3, C3, D3, E3. When we come to row 4, then it comes to B4, C4, E4, and so on. So that what we have just done is called a relative reference. Okay. And if you are to get the average, if you want the average of the students, in normal circumstances, we get the total divided by number of subjects. So here we should say equals. Now our total is in cell F2. So this is our total, F2, then divide by the number of subjects, which are 1, 2, 3, 4. So divide by 4. Then we have the average. Again, to get the average of the rest, we do a relative referencing by double-clicking here. Okay. So we are able to get the total and the average of all the students. So what we have just done, we have used what we call a formula. Now, what is the difference between a formula and a function? In Excel, we can use either a formula or we can use a function. And the difference is a formula is created by you, the user. Like as I have done, I have created my formula here, which was equals B2 plus C2 plus D2 plus E2. And I have created my formula here, which is equals F2 divided by 4. However, Excel has what we call inbuilt functions. Now, a function is already there and is already defined by Microsoft when it was programming the Excel. So we are going to see how we can use these functions. Someone say kindly repeat on average. Okay, we said normally average is equals. We are creating a formula. The equal sign means I'm going to create a formula. So average is normally the total divided by number of subjects. So our total is in F2. Remember, we don't write 342, 340. No, we write the position here. So our total is found in position F2. So we shall write F2 divided by number of subjects, which are 4. So divide by 4. Then we have, but because we want to do relative referencing, shall double click. And that is what we have. So that is a formula. But now we are going to use functions. We are going to use a function to find total, and we are going to use a function to find average. Okay, let me put here total 2. And I'll put average 2. So here we use the formulas. Here we use the formulas. Now I'm going to use functions. So this time we are going to use functions, but we should be able to get the same thing. So when you need to use a function, you have 3 options of getting a function. The first option is clicking on this fx. It will insert a function. The second option is to come to this summation symbol under the edit group, and you click on the drop down arrow, and you click on more functions. The third option is to click on formulas on the tab here. You click on formulas, and then you have insert function is also there. So there are 3 options. Under the home tab, you can have this fx. You can also come to a summation symbol and you click to more functions. or you can come to formulas and then you click on insert function. Now, formulas here, as you can see, we have so many mathematical formulas, so many. You can't even finish them, so many. Those of you who are doing BBA, you use so much the financial functions. Those of you who are doing BBA, when you come to computerized accounting, this will be your friend here. It will be your friend. Just a minute. Okay, let's continue. So we have the function. So we are going to use a function this time. I've been telling you, those of you who are doing BBA, you are going to use a lot of financial functions. This will be your friend here. You'll use that one a lot. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm going to click on fx to determine a function here. Remember, this time I'm not putting the equal sign. This time I'm not putting the equal sign. This time I'm not putting the equal sign, but I'm just clicking inside the cell. Then I click the function button. Now, the moment I click the function button, because I don't know what function comes, automatically Excel puts for me the equal sign. So automatically Excel puts for me the equal sign. So then I'm told, search for a function. So the function which I want is addition. Because I want to add numbers, I'll type addition and I'll click go. Let me put all the functions. So or select a category. I want all functions. So I put addition. So it thinks I need that one. So addition of two numbers. Okay. So actually, Excel doesn't use addition, but uses what we call summation. So it looks at the sum. Then I'll say go. So I have sum and I click OK. So it is going to ask for the range of the numbers I want to add. Then I'll put and so on. Now I'm going to cancel this. So we are going to look at some of the common functions which anybody who knows Excel must know. But when you go to your other disciplines like accountants, architects, and so on, they have every group has its own functions it uses. Excel is very rich, so many functions for different people. So let us look at just the common functions for beginners. So the first one is the sum, which is the total. So we come to our summation symbol there. Then we have sum. So Excel is going to put for us equals sum. Then open brackets. So what Excel actually does is going to think that you need to add from B2 up to D2. But remember, our subjects end at E2. So we are going to add just here, and we put there E2. Then we shall press enter. So when you look here, this total is exactly the same as this total here. So you can see these two totals are exactly the same. So what Excel does, it puts a function that says equals sum, then from B2 up to E2. Remember, for us, we are saying equals B2 plus C2. Now, if these cells were too many, it will become, our code will be dirty because the cells are too many. So Excel summarizes them by saying from B2 up to E2. So now we know that if I need the total here, I can just type equals sum, then open bracket. Then I can just take the range by dragging the mouse over. So automatically Excel puts from B2 up to E2. Then I close the bracket and I press enter. So now I'm going to do relative referencing. So you can see what happens. Actually, all our totals are exactly the same as the other side. So either way, you can use your own formula or you can use the function, but the results will be the same. We have average. If you find average, you can come back to the summation symbol there and we choose average. So Excel thinks we need average from B2 up to H2. But for us, we need average from B2 up to E2. So it means we are going to add just here, and this is E2. So again, as you can see, we have the same average like on the other side. So again, we are going to use relative referencing. So you can see exactly the same averages are the same averages which we have. Okay. Here we are using now functions. And all along we are using relative referencing. So as you can see, the arguments are changing relative to the position of the cursor. Okay. Now we are going to do the absolute reference. This time I'm going to find total 3, but I'm going to use absolute reference. Absolute reference, we said we put a dollar sign to fix a row and a column. So I'm going to type equals sum, then open bracket. Someone wants me to repeat average. Are you not practicing that side? Just a moment, someone is calling me.
Nothing is significant. If only connected to enter physical pops up to each. Within the region, stay 3 blocks of physics.
Okay, I've been going to do a relative referencing. So absolute referencing. So we said we put a dollar sign. So that means dollar sign is shift and 4. Then I'm going to add from B. Then I'm going to fix the column also, the row. So from B2. Then I'll put a colon from B2 up to E2. So dollar sign E. 2. Okay. Then I'm going to close. Okay. So as you can see here, I have fixed. Now, if I do this, if I double click here or if I drag down, you can see I have the same. Even if I continue where there are no figures, I will still have the same thing. Okay. Because I have fixed that. So I've done absolute referencing, meaning it should not change. Okay. Some people are, someone is asking total 1 and total 2, are they the same or different? Someone is asking total 1 and total 2, are they the same or different? According to my screen, are they the same or different? Whoever has asked, may I have 340, 340, which means they are the same. They shouldn't be different. And actually, even here, you see it is 340. So if yours are different, then you are making... Sorry?
The dollar sign.
The dollar sign is shift and 4. Shift and 4. I can repeat. So I'm typing equals sum, then open bracket, then dollar sign is shift and 4. So we fix the column, we fix this column to be B. Then a dollar sign, shift and 4. So we fix the row also to be row 2. So here we have fixed both the, so it means actually we have fixed this cell, okay? We have fixed this cell here. Then up to Again, we fix the last cell. So $sign E, then $sign who. So I fixed also the last cell, then I'll close. So that is what I have. Now, when you see I have B2, now even if I change, it is still remain B2E2, B2E2, okay? So that is what we call absolute reference. And then we have, I'm going to use total 3, I'm going to use a mixed reference, total 4. So total 4, I'm going to use a mixed reference. People asking so many questions in a group. What is the use of absolute reference? Kindly repeat on some. Musomesa, can you undo in Excel? Yes, you can do undo in Excel. What is the use of absolute reference? As we go ahead in formulas, you'll see the use. Now it may not make much sense, but as we advance in Excel, we shall see when this is used. Here we are just introducing ourselves to the formulas and functions. So just be patient, especially those of you, the accountants. You'll use it now and again, but in our next lesson, we shall do some advanced functions and we shall see how it works. Okay, let us look at a mixed reference. So this time, I'm going to fix the first cell, but I will not fix the last cell. So again, I'm going to say equals sum and open bracket. So I'm fixing the first cell to be B2. And the last cell, I'm not fixing it. I'm just leaving it at E2. So I'm not fixing the last cell. Okay. So the first figure, again, I get 340. But when I double click, you can see I'm getting other figures. So what does Excel do? Let me show what exactly is being done. So this is what Excel is doing. If I have this figure here, Excel is showing you the arrows according. So the first figure here, Excel, these arrows now are becoming too many. Let me remove them. Okay, so the first figure here, you can see Excel is showing us that it has added from here up to here. It has added from here up to here to get that figure there. Okay, so that is B2 up to E2. When you come to the second figure, which is 676, let me first remove this. So when it comes to 676, you can see what Excel has added. So it is adding all of these cells. So it has added all of these cells to come up with this figure. Now, if you come to, say, a figure like this one,
Excuse me, when it has it added also that 76?
Yeah, you can see it is adding all of these. So it adds from 80, it always goes back. You see where the spot is? So it goes, now when you see this figure here, it is adding from B2 up to E8. So it is going back to the spot here, which is B2. Then it goes on adding until when it comes to 78 here. So it adds all of these figures now. So all of those which are in red now, it has added them together to get this figure. Okay. So actually, when you see here, it is saying it is adding from B2 up to E8. Okay. So many questions in the group. Repeat total 4. You are speedy. And here we need a slow pace. Much mathematics, please. But the video is recorded. You can go back in your free time and you follow step by step. The video is recorded. Okay. That's why I want these Zoom lectures, because you can see very well my screen and everything is being recorded. Okay. Actually, I'm going to give you time to sit in groups and discuss this video. Don't sit alone. You can sit in the group and discuss the video. Where you are stuck, you are free to call me and ask. Okay? Okay, people want me to repeat total 4. Okay, let me repeat it. So we have total 4. I'm going to use a mixed reference. So I'll say equals, then sum, open bracket. So I'm going to fix the first cell here. Okay? I'm going to fix the first cell there by putting dollar signs on it. So when I put dollar signs, it means I have fixed it. Then I'm going to put a colon to mean up to. Now this last cell, I'm not going to fix it, the E2. I'm not going to fix it. Okay? Then I'll press enter. Then after, I'm going to do double click. So as you can see, we are getting different figures, but we want to understand what these figures mean. When you look here, it is one cell is fixed, the first cell, and this other cell is changing. So the last cell, the range is changing. So if I have, for example, this, if I want to see what it has added, it is going to show me that it has added from here up to here. Okay? So it has added all of these have been added. So all of these, when they're added, they make up this total. So that means our final total here is a combination of all the students. Okay, as you can see, the final total here shows that it has added everything together to get a final total. It's not difficult. As long as you practice, you can easily understand it. Okay? Okay, let's look at some more functions. We have seen the sum, we have seen the average. Let's look at counting numbers, maximum and minimum. Okay, if I want to count how many students did a subject, okay? So I can count. Let me add a column here for count number of students. So if I want to know how many students did this subject, okay? Now I want to see the subjects up, but I'm not seeing them, okay? I want when I scroll, the subjects remain there. So what I will do, I can come to the view there, view button, then you have freeze pens. So I am going to freeze the top pen. Okay, now as I scroll, you can see the subjects have remained up. So I want to count how many people did mathematics. So I'll come there, then I'll come to, then I say count numbers. But as you can see, it is going to include even the empty cell. Yet for me, I need only those who did. So it is including the empty cell. So I'm changing this to B19. Okay. So as you can see, 18 students did that subject. Then I can scroll. Okay. So I have those who did English, science, history. Someone saying repeat the count. But you practice them. I'm recording this video. You just need to go back and you practice. Then we use another function, which is the maximum. So I want to know the maximum mark for each subject, which was the highest score in each subject. So I'm going to look for highest score. So for the highest score, I'm going to use a function which is called max. So it thinks I need a maximum number because there's an empty cell here. That's why it thinks I need that. But instead for me, I need from B2 up to B19. So it gives me the highest mark here was 92. So mathematics, the highest mark was 92, which is that one. If I scroll to the left, to the right, I can get the highest mark for each subject. Then I need also the lowest mark. Again, I'm going to use a function, which is minimum. So it thinks I need a minimum of these numbers, but that's not what I need. I need a minimum from B2 up to B19. So the minimum score there was 35. If I scroll to the right, then I can have. So today, we have been able to utilize these functions: the sum, the average, count numbers, maximum, and minimum. So I want you to go back in your free time and utilize these functions. Learn how they work. We still have time. I'm not going to add more here because next lecture we shall look at advanced functions. Okay? We shall look at advanced functions. We shall look at conditional statements. In advanced functions, also the person who has been asking when to use the absolute reference, you will see how it works. Now, remember in the errors, we said you can easily make an error. Now, instead of mean, if I just type that, so you can see Excel is bringing a name error. So when you see this, it means there's a problem with the name of the function. So it means go back and correct the name of the function. Okay. Then I want to divide this by 10. So I'm going to say equals this cell here, divide by. So instead of dividing it by 10, I'm going to say divide by 0. So it is going to give me a division by 0 error, meaning there is a problem there. So I have to go back and I correct. Okay. So these errors, you are going to encounter them now and again. Also, remember the error which we said for the hashes. So when you see the hashes, it means the figure is not enough. The cell is not enough. The figure is too big. So what you do, you come up there and then you double click. it will expand, or if you don't do that, you can come to under the home tab, under format, then you can come to auto fit column width. So you sort it. So these are some of the errors which you can encounter. Okay, I want to end there today with those few concepts. You still have time. I want you to use the rest of the time to discuss. You can form groups. Form groups. Those who are not at campus, I don't know how you're going to do it, but those who are at campus, you can form study groups and go back to this video. I'm going to post it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel. Go back step by step and see whatever we have done. Some of these functions already they're in your coursework there, which I gave you. Someone says, so why did you divide by 0 instead? Okay, let me repeat that. I said you can accidentally. Now I want to divide, my intention here is to divide this cell, this figure, by 10. So my intention is to divide by 10, but I can accidentally forget the 1 and I instead put 0. So that is a mistake. So the moment I do it, Excel is going to give me an error message. Okay? Excel is going to give me an error message. This error message is we saw. So it means this is divisible by 0. I have to go back and I rectify my formula. So I have to put it to 10, then I get a correct answer. Okay. Someone is saying attendance. Attendance, I record everybody who attends this. Okay? It is automatic recording. So the mere fact that you have logged in, unfortunately, some of you use funny names. That is a problem. Someone has raised a hand. Can you ask? Jerry, now someone is Jerry256. I don't know your name. You have raised a hand. Shafiq, you have also raised a hand. Sharif. People are raising hands, but they are not asking anything. Unmute. Unmute. Okay. Let's call it a day. I'm going to upload this on the YouTube channel. I'm seeing people raising hands, but when I tell them to unmute and talk, they are not. There is a Zoom user, I don't know his name.
They are testing that car feature.
Okay, they are testing it. Okay. Okay, I wish you a nice day. Let me share this video on the YouTube channel. You can go there, but some of you don't want to subscribe. If you have not yet subscribed, you subscribe, such that anytime I post these videos, you are notified. Okay.
We are going to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. All of you have not yet subscribed. Please subscribe. Okay, I wish you a nice day.
Nice day too.